Welcome to the setup guide. So I will be taking you through how to create your account and show you where you can also download the smartPOS available for your OS. So this is our website, productcompiler.com. Just to give you a brief overview of what we do, we design software solutions for businesses, so we operate a B2B kind of business setup. We are a fully remote team based in Kampala, and today we're just going to talk about the POS as one of the products we have for people in the sales industry. So to download the latest version is 1.6.5. However, if for some reason you want to go to the previous version, which is we could try 6.4, you should see download links available for the specific version. So the latest version is 1.6.5. We are working on a really better page to provide you with download links, but it's gonna stay the same link. I'm gonna put it in the description of this video, so feel free to check it out and download the version that best suits your operating system. So I downloaded the ARM version because I'm using Mac OS M1. So if you're using the same PC, you probably just want to download the first one. There are also you have a DMG, there's a PKG, and the Windows version. So the first time you download the system, you will see something like this. Sorry about that. I was just trying to create a company before which I canceled. So I'm going to create a company called Samuel's Burger House rather. The company address, I'm gonna use Kampala in Uganda. So the email, I will use connect. It's just a test email. I'm gonna go with any random number. So the business type, we support two different kinds of businesses. The bar and restaurant version setup is a pretty straightforward thing. If you're operating a bar or restaurant, that's the best option for you. However, if you're operating a business, something like a pharmacy or a retail store, anything that's in line with that, you're gonna have to go with the small and medium-sized business. We will do a separate video just to show you how this also looks like, because they're just small changes that actually you get with that are not available for the bar and restaurant. So I'm gonna stick to the bar and restaurant setting, and I'll choose a password and hit next. So I'm gonna go with the standard, which is just the sales package. So when I hit continue, so the system will send me a verification code on my email, which I will just get right now. I'm just using my phone for that, so I'm not. So my verification code is ZM for capital Z, capital R. So when I hit verify, it brings me to this company settings page. So this is a one-time setting. This page has information about your business and the information that clients are going to see on your bills. So I will take you through what each one of these things means, and you'll notice that there is one thing that you can't actually change. So you might want to be careful about what email address you want to use. So the email address is what identifies your account with different services we use. So this cannot be changed because things to do with licenses and cloud storage with Firebase are going to be attached to your email address, and anything relating to your account, we're going to send you emails to this email that you provide. So the company name, this you can actually change. So you could probably just call it Burgers or whatever you want. The address, you can be a little more specific. It's this information, the company name, the address, TIN number, and the contact are all going to be at on your bills, and the KOTs at the top. So I'm gonna add a TIN number. It's just random. Then the receipt footnote is what appears at the bottom of a bill. Most people want to use thanks for coming, but you could keep this anything that you want. If you want to do some sort of promotions or want to tell people about something, about a night or anything, so this space is available for you to literally use it as you please. So when I hit update info, the information is saved, and we will see how this appears on a bill once we create an order. Now the second thing you're gonna have to look at is the outlets. So we support multiple outlet settings, so every outlet can have its own employees and different access controls. So by default, once you create an account, we're going to create for you one outlet, which will be the default outlet. So you will notice that we have an outlet. We picked the name, the business name that you chose, and the location as your default. But the default currency is UGX. So that's why I wanted to mention something about this section. So you might want to update this to set your actual currency depending on the country you're in, because this is what's going to drive your entire setup, and all bills are going to come out with this currency prefix at the end. So since I'm in Uganda, our currency is UGX. You might just want to keep a shorthand. So this information about my outlet is just fine. So you can create more outlets if you're operating multiple outlets. There is no limit to the number of outlets you can have. Then the other thing you're gonna want to check are the access controls. So by default, everything is set to no. There's quite a lot that you can do, and I'm just gonna take you through just 2 or 3 things. So there's a setting that allows a manager to view sales report. A manager is one of the users of your system. So you will decide either you want them to see reports or not. In my opinion, I think I'm okay with the manager viewing reports. VAT, so we keep VAT as standard to 18%, but if it is something different, we're gonna have to set this up manually for you. So feel free to reach us out on any of the contacts in the video description below, or just send us an email at pos@prodevkampala.com. So there's a lot of settings just to allow you better set up your system in a way that you're best comfortable with. So I won't bore you going through each one of those, but that's what this section is about. You can actually just search for something like a waiter, and you will see all things that relate to a waiter, cashier, or a manager, depending on what you want. So like I mentioned earlier, these settings are attached to each outlet. So if you have multiple outlets, you're gonna have to set these up independently, because I might want a manager to view reports at one outlet, but I don't want them to view reports on the other outlet. So it gives you a bit of flexibility in the way you set it up. So that's access controls for you. Then the other thing we create for you by default is under the employees section. So we'll create for you a super account with a username, which is the default email address that you provide to us. So the super account is the person who actually can access this section of the system. This is where you set up all your menu, your outlets, employees, the email lists, and all that. So this is technically where you can create employees from. But take note that when it comes to a username, you can either use an email address for an employee, or just a random username that they would want. But the difference with those two is that if you use an email address, it will be saved the way it is. For example, I can use Samuel at prodevkampala.com. So this is Samuel. Okay. So in this case, I would have the possibility to reset my own password because I'm using an email address. So there is a password reset option, which we will go through in probably another video. So the difference is that if I decided to use Samuel as a username, and first name I would say Samuel Mpwanyi, the branch is that, and my role is just a manager, I would say. So I'll give him a password and say create a user account. So you'll notice that instead of Samuel, it's Samuel 47. So this is how we uniquely identify users and the account they are attached to. So yeah, for this specific account, Samuel's Burger House, their account ID is 47. So every user or every employee you're gonna create, and they are not using an email or a valid email as their username, they're gonna have an extension of the company ID on every one of them. So this is done, like I mentioned, to uniquely identify different accounts across the platform. So for such people, they don't actually have the ability to reset their own passwords if they forget them. So we created a simple way. You can actually enter a new password for them and just reset it for them. Simple as that. You can also as well activate or deactivate their accounts if you need to, with just one click. Then the last thing I wanted to talk about in this section would be the departments. So departments, when you look at a bar and restaurant setup, they have the kitchen and the bar as the two departments. So by default, we create main as the main department. It's just for test purposes, but you can actually rename this to bar, and also add a new one, kitchen. So all your menu items are gonna belong to either one of these. So this is how the menu is set up. So when you come to your menu section, you notice I don't have any items. I'm just gonna create 2 items for testing purposes. So first I'll need to create a category of a menu. So I'm gonna say beers. So when I create that, I have an option to view items under this category. So I'm going to create a new beer, Nile as my favorite, and this is 5,000. And the department, is bar. Like I was mentioning before, every item is gonna belong to either one of these. So depending on the department you attach an item, the system will know what printer to use, depending on how you set them up. So I'm going to also create Tasker Light, same price, same department. So you'll notice that I have two items under beer. So I can create a new category, maybe something on the food section called, I could say, main course. So I am going to add a chicken wings. I know it's not a main course, but just for demo purposes, and this would be something like 32,000, and this belongs to the kitchen. Then I can also create goat ribs, maybe at the same price, and there we go. We have two items in both sections. So the last thing you want to set up here are your printers. So there are two departments, and then there is an additional default, which is the bill. So the printer information this is something you're gonna set up once. So you will need to set up the printers for both sections, which I'm gonna do in another video, but this is where you actually get to do that from. So the other thing you want to do is, let's take a look at how our setup looks like right now. So we have menu categories, our beers and the main course, and you can toggle to view all items, or probably just search for something simple as that. So you'll notice that we're missing one thing. We don't have service stations. We don't have areas of service. So those are the sections and the tables. So under settings, you come to sections and tables, and let's create section 1, for example. So same thing, view tables, and I'll have maybe table 1. I'm gonna keep capital letters, and let me create another one, table 2. So when you come back to POS, you'll notice that we have a new section, and we have 2 tables. So you can have as many tables as you want, and one section. You can also have as many sections as you want. So our setup is done. We are set to go, and I want to make at least one cell. So when I come to cell section, you'll notice I haven't made any cell for today, and I still have 30 days left. So I'm going to pick table 1, and yes, I want to create an order, and I'm going to put in an order for 2 Nile and goat rib. So you can also do modifications. Goat ribs, I might tell the kitchen person that add chips, maybe. And Nile, it's very straightforward, but you can do the modifications just as we've done for the goat ribs. So when I confirm this, it should go out to the kitchen, the KDS, showing under new orders, and this shows that this table has been set up by me. I mean, it has just come up right now. You'll notice the modification for the goat ribs with the chips. So depending on the department you're in, you can actually select what department you want to look at. So I'm gonna go with the kitchen, so I'll only see kitchen orders. It also works the same for the bar. So there are only these 2 orders. So That's all about the setup. I didn't want to go through into everything in one video, but we can settle this bill and take a look at the changes here. You'll notice that we have one running order, which is exactly what we have here, and you'll notice that the color of the section now changes to a light gray, meaning there is actually a table that has an order, and this also shows you the number of active orders under this section, which is 1. So the blue indicates the currently selected table. If you have more, you will probably see a light shade of blue, which would look something like this. So it would be a blue border. So currently I'm looking at table 2, and this is table 1. So when I come to settle this, I have different options. There's a direct payment, which has mobile money, Visa and cash, or you could decide to split the bill depending on how you've received the money, or you could settle this as credit. So for this, you're gonna need to create a company or a user which is identified as a company. The other section have exceptions, like cancelled, or someone paid you by check, NFT, and CO pending. But for any one of these, you're gonna need a reason why or maybe an extra note for the person to better understand why this was settled the way you decided. So I'm gonna stick to direct, and this is a cash payment. And once I settle that, that goes away, and we have 42,000 in cash made. So thanks for sticking around, and we'll be updating more videos to better show you how best you can get the best out of the system. So thanks for watching.